let's see how this goes. Make sure there's no sound. Okay. hmm. Well, let's try that again. Oh, there it is. It does seem. All right. Now, actually, I want to check this on YouTube so that I can see if there's any comments. All right. Let's go into here. Okay. Well, seems to be working. And yeah, so nobody's around. That's fine. No big deal. The just for those of you who are watching this later on, hi, how you doing? So the weather outside is I could probably fly, but and it's not great, and it looks like it might rain, and so I wanted to see how this works inside with a good connection because the last live stream test that I did was not fantastic because of the connection that I was using. So I was trying to live stream. This is supposed to be. I keep gesturing over here because that's where my laptop is, so I can see if anybody says anything in the chat room. That's it. I have the Inspire up, sitting in my living room, basically, and I am using it as a very expensive uh, tripod and video streaming set. Um, and I'm not sure. See, I'm at 97% now, so it'll last probably. Uh, Without flying, I can probably get 30 minutes out of it, I bet. But I'm a little curious how far that'll go as well. So, hey, it works fine. Excellent. Thank you so much. Um, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on both of these, and I'll keep an eye on the chat room and stuff. So if it's going through, if anything starts to hiccup, just let me know in the chat room, and it'll be interesting to check out. So I've posted this on my regular YouTube channel and on the DJI forums, um, so that I'll have people coming in maybe at both sides of it, and just wanted to see how this worked with a really good internet connection because I'm using my Wi-Fi in the house. So it's a little bit of a bummer. If I had a bigger house, I'd fly it around, but it doesn't work quite that way. So let's see, for those of you who are new to this channel, I am Scott. Hi. Channel name is Chill in Kansai, and I operate on the DJI forums as Edgy Media, which is, I don't know, whatever. And so I've been living in Japan for, I don't know what, 15 out of the last 20 years or so, and enjoy it here and teach at a university in the area. And just got basically the Inspire here is pretty much my first real drone. I had a couple of Syma X5, XC, and the XC5 that I tried to teach myself how to fly with, and I got some of the beginnings of it pretty okay. I still couldn't land them without smashing them into the ground, but it worked out all right. And the Inspire is so much easier to fly. It's really not funny. It's really it's fantastic. It handles wind well, which the little tiny ones didn't, and the camera on this is absolutely amazing. And I really want to try. I have a little Wi-Fi hotspot device that is. Hey Ninjaru, how you doing? That is WiMAX 2, And in Japan, WiMAX is actually functional. In the US, it kind of failed, and there was a lot of problems with connection, and not many people started to use it. It's a little bit more popular here. Not too many people are using it enough to keep it viable, but and so it's kind of a low latency network. It ends up being something that you can uh, use really pretty well because there aren't that many people on it. But it's enough to keep it going, and as long as they keep it going, it's not a bad deal. It's about as fast as an LTE or 4G network. Um, yeah, so that's it. Wow, there's still some messy stuff up over here. Oh well. Yeah, closer here. I tried to clean out the area as much as possible, but you miss things. Let's see. I think I'm using my basically just using the microphone headset. It's a Skull Candy right out of the iPad. So it runs into the iPad, uses the regular uh, iPad connection for the microphone, which is probably why you get maybe a little bit more mouth sound than I will be actually comfortable with. But uh, when I was listening back to the other streaming recording, it seemed to work pretty well. So hopefully you're getting some decent sound without too much. So the broadcast and myself are about almost 40 seconds or so behind. So that's, yeah, that's there. So most of the time when I go out and fly, I am at a park that's down about 20 minutes away from here, just because nobody there has yet given me any hassle about it. It's kind of a not terribly busy park, which is kind of rare in Japan. Mostly I run into old people who are interested in the device here, and it's been good. Everybody's asked a lot of questions and stuff like that, and that's fantastic. And I don't mind sharing. And when I went to a different park, they kind of yelled at me for flying there because they were all panicky and stuff like that. So hopefully everything will calm down and be just fine eventually. But it's a little weird. I'm getting intermittent GPS connections off of this from inside the house, but mostly it's in PATTI. So it just uses the sensors on the bottom of the camera to visually see where it is in relationship to the rest of the space. So I think it would be way too dangerous to fly in this room. So too much to hit. So anyway, Japan is one of those countries that hasn't really anticipated the popularity of drones much at all. Basically, there's no regulation here at all as far as drones. Now, there are some radio control regulations, but I need to dig out what um, because they've had radio control helicopters and planes and stuff for quite a while. And I think a lot of those are used primarily only at fields, but fields near airports. But this really, the no-fly zones are pretty strict on the software for this. So I'm not entirely sure how that is going to go. But right now, the drones can be used pretty much anywhere. You really need to pay attention to what's around uh, because in Japan, they have a lot of the electrical wires, telephone wires, and stuff like that are still above ground. Um, and you can see if you check out any of the other videos that I have, particularly with that park, with the cherry blossom videos, except for the Yawata one. Uh, there's a lot of high tension, high voltage wires that run pretty much everywhere. It's difficult to fly in front of my house here because there's the wires for the telephone and internet and electricity are all right out in front, and kind of a dangerous place to fly because there's a lot to hit up in the sky. You know, about 3 meters, 4 meters up. Most of the power and everything is there, and so there are lines everywhere, and it makes it really difficult to fly in the city, which scares the hell out of me anyway. So I don't want to do that too much. Although there are a couple places where I do want to go early in the morning when nobody's around and just shoot some empty streets. But I was checking out SkyPixel and looking at the Osaka area, and there's one that picture that was shot with a DJI Phantom 2 Vision Plus of Dotonbori at night. And so if you've ever seen Blade Runner, this is the area that Blade Runner was based on. So all of the neon lights, it's kind of that Neo Japan kind of looking place. And so it's someplace that I really want to shoot, but it's not, there's so many people all the time that I'm a little nervous about it. Plus, there's a river that runs through it, and so, you know, there's a lot of possibility for things to go wrong, and I'm not quite willing to throw this away yet. So it's the yeah. So I'm a little nervous about it. Um, yeah. So I'm planning on trying to get up to Kyoto and do a couple shoots over the next couple weeks before it gets too hot. Um, there's a couple of shrines that I'd like to shoot, but I'm not entirely sure what the permission that might be necessary is for something like that. So I'm not sure about what the rules would be for shooting the like UNESCO sites. There are a couple of castles that I want to get, and whether I would need to get permission from the operating authority to be able to fly in. Technically, there's not a no-fly zone there, so I should be able to shoot it without a whole lot of trouble. And I did see somebody had a Phantom 2 Vision Plus down there and grabbed a picture from that as well. So that's it would be interesting to do. I think it would be. I really want to get some of the cultural stuff. I was out driving a couple days ago and found a bunch of tea fields um, where they were growing green tea, and wanted to do that. But again, the tea needs to be set at a certain temperature, and so they have fans that are up in the field itself, and so in order to power the fans, they have lines running to them. So it's not just it's kind of the side of a mountain thing, and so it's not just, you know, stop and fly up and through it, but there's all kinds of power lines that are running through at about 12 feet, 4 meters or so throughout the whole thing. And it would be fine for way above, but I'd like to get some that go up and through. So I think I'm going to have to see if I can make a connection with somebody who's running a tea farm and see if I'll be able to do that. Um, yeah, you know what? I was going to bring a mirror so that you can see what this looks like. It's a little weird talking to GLaDOS, right? But anyway, so I want to do the tea fields, and I want to get, there's a couple of dams in the area. I'd like to do some flyovers for those. The temples, people are a little nervous about. I've seen a couple of other Phantom videos, and I'm not sure what it was, of people who have shot a couple of famous temples in Kyoto. Um, but it would be nice to be able to get that out and available to see what and be able to try to get some good high quality video of that, and give them a copy of it and keep a copy for myself, just to kind of preserve it and have it available for people in the future. It's kind of one of the things that I wanted to do with this, kind of get a snapshot of life in Japan from the air, because there aren't that many of those yet. Although drones are starting to get a little popular, I'm a little worried about what the legal situation is going to be in Japan. There was a idiot gentleman who took a Phantom 2 and strapped some radioactive sand to it, uh, and then landed it on the Prime Minister's office about, I guess that was almost 3 weeks ago now. And the lawmakers basically um, freaked out, and to a certain degree, understandably. But the guy turned himself in, and he's been arrested and stuff. But the lawmakers really want to hurry and put a bunch of regulations in on drones in general, which I get, and that's fine. I don't actually have that big of a problem with that because I think it is important for them to be able to restrict airspace above, I don't know, with the Olympics coming up, above large crowds and stuff, and authorized vehicles only. I think I don't have a problem with that. I think it makes sense. But I'm a little concerned that they're going to restrict it to the point of unusability. Um, and because, yeah, so they tend to go over, when I've seen laws made against stuff, other things, they tend to go a bit on the overboard side and do way more than they need to do. Um, and hopefully it won't damage the usability of things like the Inspire One. Um, so I'm a little nervous about that, but we'll see how it goes. Um, for those of you who are on a more limited budget and are interested in picking up your own drone, it depends on what you're going to use it for. If you're just going to use it to fly around and have a little bit of fun, Phantom 3 looks good. Both the advanced and the professional look pretty nice. I think that they'll have less problems with that because they're co-opting some of the software from the Inspire here and using the same piloting program. So I think those will have less growing pains than the Inspires had issues. Not mine. I've been really fortunate. I haven't had any trouble, and the crashes that I have had have been minor, and broken props here and there. And the couple of times that it did fall down, it was completely my fault, and it didn't actually break anything. So I've been very fortunate as far as that goes. So yeah, there's a lot. They're a great toy. I think if you're in Japan, if you're out in the countryside, it'll be more fun. If you live in the city, the Inspire is really kind of limited because there are going to be a lot of places where you can't fly, and a lot of places that you probably shouldn't fly. There's lots of buildings, even in the small. I'm between two big cities, and so it's kind of a bedroom town. Lots of buildings and lots of power lines, and so it's a little. Um, the One of the things that's different about Japan from the U.S. for sure is the privacy issues. So you can't just take a camera and go down and shoot a park, um, and then be able to sell those photos because the way that the privacy law is written, you'd have to get a release from everybody in the picture and stuff like that. And so, and people get really particular about privacy. Now, my personal view on that is, well, you're in public, so, and you're not famous, so, don't worry about it. But there was a lawsuit a few years ago that kind of ruined that for everybody, and I talked about it in one of my previous videos on this channel. If you're interested, go and check that out. Um, and so the privacy issues are different, but it looks like the U.S. is going to be catching up on some of those here pretty quick, based on some of the stuff I've seen in the forum and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, Japan is an interesting place to fly. There's a lot to see and do, and I need to figure out what some of the more mundane areas to shoot would be that would still be interesting for people to watch. I'd like to shoot some parks and stuff like that, but there's usually a lot of trees and a lot of buildings nearby, and most of the parks are lined with the power lines and stuff. So it makes it a little bit things. So tip, when you power off the Inspire, you will lose the live stream. It means when you fly, the live stream is cut after the flight. You need to start a new live stream for the next flight. That's true. Absolutely. Good tip, Dundee, Thailand. Yes. And actually, don't start the live streaming too early, because right now the live streaming is up. Oh, I can show you that. Whoa. And so you can see that right now the live stream is taking up most of the screen, and that you can't see what the machine is seeing. You can hit the done button, it goes away, but it's yeah. So the timing on it. So make sure you do your IMU calibration before, if you need that. But lately I haven't needed to. But the check IMU button has been a really good addition. And then calibrating the compass. Make sure you calibrate your compass before you start. Otherwise, you're going to end up on yeah. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a whole bunch of, like on the previous live stream that I did. Thanks, Dundee. Uh, yeah, and so actually with that, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I've been rambling a little bit. I'm going to leave this on my regular. This is my main regular channel. It's the Chillin' Kansai. So I've been expat in American expat living in Japan. Expat, okay, foreigner living in Japan, and I've been here for a while. So mostly this channel is my point of view from being in this area, and some of the things that I've seen that are different from people who are here just for the first time and only here for a short time, a couple of years, because things change as you've been here longer. My regular Inspire channel is Fly Japan CO. So if you go to youtube.com/c/Fly Japan CO, that will take you to that channel, and I'll put that in the notes at the bottom. And I think that's going to be about it. So thanks, folks, for stopping by. All 7 of you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so if anybody out there who has an Inspire has done some live streaming from their own bird out in the world, either in the forums over there or in the comment section here, let me know what you've done and where I can see it. I will leave this one up after YouTube gets done processing it and stuff like that, because I'm curious as to how the other stuff is going to go. I wonder if this more wire pattern here is going to get picked up. I can see it on the screen a little bit, but I kind of wish I would have brought a test pattern. So, oh well. Anyway, all right. I've been going for about 23 minutes, so I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this puppy up now. Like I said, if you're interested in Japan and what it's like to live here, stay on this channel. Go ahead and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, all that good stuff. If you're interested in just seeing Inspire videos from Japan, we're doing a bit more traveling this summer and try to get some more stuff done. Then you can check me out at flyjapan's. The website is flyjapan.co. If you do a search for Fly Japan CO on YouTube, you should get to my channel, but be careful because there's another guy whose name is Fly Japan, which is why I went with Fly Japan CO. But the channel name is Fly Japan CO. So, thank you very much. Y'all have a good one, and I will see you out in the sky. And for those of you with Inspire, fly safe if you have a drone. And otherwise, I will talk to you later. Bye.